Every aspect of our lives as Americans is affected by money. You need money to eat, to get a job, you need money to do cool things like go to concerts. In order to live and enjoy your life, you need to have wealth. In theory, this all makes sense, but there's a major problem. Right now in the United States, the vast disparity of wealth is the worst it's been since the Great Depression. The facts are that the richest 20% have more wealth than the 80% below it. And those numbers look like this. The second and third percentile pale in comparison to the top 20th, and the bottom two barely make the scale. There's nothing really about this that's equal, and it gets worse with the more statistics you look at. Where the United States lands on rankings of greatest income inequality in developed countries is pretty bad too. Sure, you could say that we're better than Britain and France, but you have to realize that we've placed worse than countries like Slovenia, Slovakia, and the Czech Republic. Looking at these numbers, it's easy to see that these are scary facts. So, this is what we decided to do. We developed a comprehensive website that dives into the root of where these inequalities stem, and took a look at several American institutions that are both affected by wealth inequality and also help perpetuate the status quo. Here's how we did it.
We began by asking, what's the cause? What's the problem here? And that happens to be money in politics.
The campaign finance system, I think, is our number one problem in this country right now, because I think it impacts everything else. I think there are very few issues that are not impacted by money in politics.
Once that was cleared up, we figured out the 4 aspects of where it hurts the most.
Education, meaning primary, secondary, and higher ed. Here, you'll see everything from safety in urban communities to poor quality education.
What's the great leveler? The great leveler is education.
For jobs, we focused on employment, wages, and how big businesses are influencing us all, more than we think.
If you make the minimum wage, you don't make enough to actually be at the official poverty line. So that means you're living in a deficit.
In justice services, we look at a number of issues: overpopulation, privatization of jails and prisons, drug sentencing, and how the system as a whole is creating an unequal society.
As a poor person, I was arrested, even for a relatively minor crime. Bail would be set, and I can't make that bail. I can't pay that bail, so I go to jail.
Finally, at their root, social safety net programs like welfare, SNAP, and healthcare are meant to help people but often don't meet expectations.
And for the kids themselves, the trauma and the devastation of being removed from their families, never finding home, no forever family attaches to them, and then they find themselves homeless on the streets, is extraordinary.
Now, all of this is great, but in order to actually move our society forward in any way, we need a mass of people to become socially responsible.
The point of this website is not to save the world. It's to educate young Americans all across the United States. People toy around with this whole idea of the American dream, but we're just trying to show you the American reality. Welcome to Wealth Inequality in America.